In a landmark move for the cryptocurrency industry, the House of Representatives voted overwhelmingly on Thursday to pass the so called Genius Act, which is a groundbreaking bill establishing new regulations for stablecoins. The legislation, which now awaits the president's signature, marks the first major overhaul of crypto rules and signals an historic lobbying victory for digital asset companies. The House also advanced the Clarity Act. That's a broader crypto market structure bill with surprising bipartisan support. Joining us to discuss these developments is Carlos Ivan Merino, who is New Jersey State Chapter President of Stand With Crypto. Good to see you again, Carlos.
Good morning, Ken. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you. There was a point 2 weeks ago, it was looking like it was kind of 50-50 whether this would pass. So I am very happy, as I'm sure you are, that the Genius Act and the Clarity Bill passed. So the Genius Act's passage had strong bipartisan support. I think that surprised people because Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who is younger and knows what crypto is about, he's being called an historic, or he called it an historic win for the crypto industry. So what does it mean for stablecoins and why is it so significant for people who want to get into digital assets?
Uh, Thank you, Ken. So pretty much what I could tell you is that uh, for consumers, for Americans nationwide, this is a huge win because three big changes are going to happen. There's going to be first like cheaper transactions because normally when people use their credit cards, they have to pay 2 to 3% per transaction. But with stablecoins, that's going to be cut to pennies, and pretty much those savings are going to go back to the consumers. The second thing is that there could be faster payments with like bank transfers. So normally, if you were to wire money, if you were going to be paying $25, let's say for like a wire transfer, because you're going to be using like stable coins, it's going to be a lot cheaper and it's going to be also a lot quicker. And then the last thing pretty much is that when you look at here in New Jersey, like and pretty much nationwide, like people when they hear crypto, they would be afraid, scared. But now there's consumer protection within this bill, which means that like these are not unregulated crypto tokens anymore because every digital dollar, so the USDC or USDT stablecoin, so it's backed by real dollar reserves. So there will be federal oversight and there's also regular audits. So this is a huge win for everyday consumers.
And just to explain to people why this is the case, when you put all the backing of the security on the US dollar and the US dollar shifts in its value every day, right? The US government prints more money that lowers the value of each dollar. Federal, I should say, international, other countries, sometimes the pound or the sterling pound, I should say, in Britain, or the euro is higher than the dollar, right? So during the course of a day, the value of a US dollar goes up and down. When you're using stable coins and crypto like stable coins, especially now, stable coins are called stable coins because there are only a certain number issued. And so the value of the stable coin will be the same, which is why, right? Why banks don't have to kind of hedge their bets by charging 5% interest or 3% interest on your credit card because they now have the backing of something much more stable, much like when we backed in gold 50 years ago. Do I kind of have that right?
Yeah, yeah. So like the right now with it's going to make things more competitive, and it's also going to help like community banks and credit unions. The Treasury Secretary has estimated that this market is going to grow to like $2 trillion within the next few years, which is going to be massive for like job creation, economic growth, and this is something that's really good to see because before you had countries like well, there was Singapore and also like countries within the European Union, they had frameworks already established, and the U.S. was falling behind. But now with something like this, the U.S. is going to be taking the lead. So this is definitely
Wasn't
a
there
good step.
also a Central American country, Carlos? Wasn't it either El Salvador or Costa Rica? I think didn't they change over, and that's like their national dollar, if you will, now. One of them, if I'm correct. If you don't know, it's okay. I just recall that.
I was going to say, so El Salvador, they're using Bitcoin as a reserve currency, but like I wouldn't be surprised if more people start using, like stable coins as forms of payment. I have seen some pictures online where people in Bolivia are using US dollar like tether as a form of payment. Like you go to the shopping, like the grocery store, and you'd see like the price in US dollar tether coin.
Yeah,
So
and
it's
Cuba
interesting.
Cuba's been doing it. Cuba's been doing it even since before the revolution. You can use Cuban money if you're from Cuba. That's what the government gives you, communist government. But otherwise, if you're from anywhere else in the world, you use dollars. There are dollar stores in Cuba, and there always have been, and you can get the
Yeah.
better stuff if you go to the dollar store. It's just amazing. But this is in an era when nobody is bipartisan, where people pick their sides. You had Democrats and Republicans coming together. Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, even there was only some. I think Maxine Waters had some opposition for whatever reason. And I truly, and I mean no disrespect to Congresswoman Maxine Waters, I think she may not have just understood. When you have a Nancy Pelosi, who, by the way, does really well in the market, wink, wink, and her husband is the head of a banking company. I mean, she knows investments. She's done very well with investments, and she backed it very strongly. So the crypto industry is here to stay, and now it certainly is. Your perspective now at Stand with Crypto, how has this advocacy helped shift the narrative? Because I think 5 years ago, without an organization like yours, this would have never had a chance at passing.
So yeah, like I have to say that it's been incredible. The work that just a lot of the advocates here in New Jersey have been doing, and then not just in New Jersey, but throughout the U.S. Like just reaching out to their like congressional representatives, like either making phone calls or sending emails. This has been very big because like again, education is a huge part of it, and like I do hope that people do educate themselves on this because like this is only just a huge win. This is a huge win for, I would say, for like not just New Jersey but for people in across the U.S. because like the what is coming is going to be huge, like in terms of making payments and also like making investments or any type of business, whether it's large or small. There are going to be a lot of benefits that are going to really help, and it'll grow the economy and create jobs, which is most important.
Absolutely. And give stability. It really will give. I think we had stability in the dollar until we started getting into $30 trillion in debt. Once we did that, all bets were off because people don't understand. They think that the government can just print more money, but every time they print more money, the dollar in your pocket and mine is no longer worth a dollar. It's then worth 70 cents and 50 cents and 20 cents. That's the problem. But when you have stable coins, there's something just like 100 years ago when we had gold and silver. We have stable coins today. That now gives us a standard and it tethers something. It tethers, gives some value to the dollar and stability. Carlos, what's a website where people can get more info? Because we love your organization.
They can go to standwithcrypto.org to get more information.
That is great. Standwithcrypto.org. Carlos Ivan Merino. And if you have any questions, I'm sure you can call Carlos up. He'll explain. Carlos is the New Jersey State Chapter President of Stand with Crypto, a friend of the show. Thank you so much for being here. And congratulations to everybody, not just the organizations with crypto. It's good for everybody in America that this all passed. Thanks for being here, Carlos.
Thank you.